So we're going to give a quick lecture on the cost and consequences of our current state of the nation, the United States of America. And I provide some realities of text. These are just a few of them. Some of them are listed over there. But the main thing is that, this is me. That of the things we know, it is our duty to demand a redress of grievances. It is our constitutional law. And it requires that in this day it seems that we have to refuse to pay taxes unless they do obey the law, the Constitution, First Amendment, to instigate true redress of grievances for we the people now, so that we the people decide. And we can go through, and the Fourth Amendment guarantees that our employees shall not bankrupt the state or nation. You know, we have some rights over ourselves. They do not. They're our employees. They don't have the right to simply take our money or indebt us or any of those things, particularly not without a war to claim. And they don't have that. Amendment 2. There's no restriction on non-lethal ammunition required instead of lethal ammunition for the general public. However, there is a clear right of protection for the militias. And that can be just providing guns and things in a safe spot that the public can access when it's necessary. It's a little more complicated. Anyway, the Third Amendment guarantees that our employers shall not take over our lives and instigate their own demands on us all by taking control over all businesses being used to enforce their will, or by threats of against those who do not do as they are told to do, as is demanding control over every child, every worker, every life based solely on a university demand. You will pay the price as is tyranny, which they did do with COVID. They did do that. Never, obey us or we'll refuse you what you need to survive. And then, of course, there's the First Amendment forbids religion of any kind from controlling the state or the nation, which they have been doing by allowing evolution to take over. There is no basis for evolution. It is a religion. It is a religion of the universities, and the universities simply demand it. And they are not allowed to do that. That is a criminal act against the United States of America. It's treason. Denial of the Fifth and Sixth Amendments, which is protect and serve, and to be subject to the redress of grievances trial. We the people decide now. They don't do that. They refuse. The refusal of Amendment 7 to preserve our securities by redress of grievances. They refuse to do that, Instead, they have established foundation upon which society depends, as is, ruining the money, the resources of the future by the cost of being wrong, by letting cult worshippers called a university and their puppets of government decide everything. They decide everything, whether you like it or not. They decide everything. You might think they're God, but they're not God. They're simply former classmates. A reality that you should not refuse or accept to acknowledge. That's what they are. They're former classmates. Denial of Amendment 8 invoking financial punishment, the same financial punishments for rich and poor alike, as is, a price for a poor man might be completely take away his house, whereas same money for a billionaire has no effect at all. It's a lie. It's a cheat. It's a whoring after the money. Amendment 9 does not allow the judiciary to take control over the nation and declare themselves judge for life. There is no such thing. Article 3 allows for good behavior only. And they have authority only beneath the Constitution, which is our government. It is not our employees. Amendment 10, the redress we decide now is again justified and true. In that amendment itself, redress is we decide now. We the people decide now. We are the owners here. Amendment 12 is, of course, the Electoral College is dead, or it should be. Amendment 13, because they can sell you out, for one thing. Amendment 13 is slavery exists. They have decided that let the children pay. is their answer to everything, and they've decided that they can counterfeit the currency, which means that they stole your money with hidden taxation. They stole it. And of course, and then there's all the debts that they create which cannot be paid. There are not enough resources in the entire world to pay them. So Amendment 14 is equal protection of the law is again mute. Employees hired to participate in working of society, they've done everything they could to bankrupt us all. And Amendment 15, the right of a nation to vote, or state to vote, as is the constitutional law of redress of grievances, as is means, democracy means that we own the nation. We own the state. We are not their employees. We are not theirs. They are our employees. And it's a fact of life which you refuse to enforce. And of course, Amendment 16 is the right to collect taxes for the building of society, not for the destruction of society, which is exactly what they've been doing. They can't collect taxes in order to give the universities whatever they want, which is, simply proves that they are in charge of everything. The universities, you have a debt with them. That's the only thing that cannot be avoided because they are in charge of our nation. And that is not fair. That's treason. That's, traitors. And that includes health care, because health care is not governed by reality. It's governed by whatever the universities want, as is, of course, COVID. The initial $6 trillion was 60 for 100 million shots, so that was $60,000 per each and every individual thought for an experimental vaccine that didn't work. There is nothing that proves COVID other than your belief. And that's just wrong, as it always is. Well, you see, in the death of democracy, which is the end of constitutional law, which is, obviously being done, even if you don't realize it is being simply destroyed, and the monopoly is replacing it. And of course, the monopoly means that that only a few people get to decide, only a few people own everything, only a few people are the government, and they decide whatever they want. Because they want to control the army, they want to control you, they want to control the fear, and so on. So you get to obey, you don't get to choose. And of course, even now, we have with the chainsaw of government, which is entirely necessary. Because, Biden produced $123 trillion, I think it was, in inflation. $123 trillion, that's $1.25 million for each and every one of 100 million people during his term of 4 years. So that, he was a part of the university cult, and the university cult says, fantasy and delusion are all we need, imagination, that's the key to our existence. And of course the end result of that is that they get to be king and you get to be slave. Simple as that. They get to be king and you get to be slave. Because realities occur, and there are consequences for every truth. So, the university is completely fake and a fraud and a failure. Simple as that. You can't deny the truth of, all your debt and all your this and all your that and all the intent to destroy nature and to destroy even the earth and destroy the solar system by creating the earth into a sun. They are utterly Satan, actually. So, as far as the chainsaw of government facilities and throwing out millions of people out of work, it means that the money laundering will stop. There's no place you can't really put the money anymore. And it won't trickle down, because every time you give money to the top people who have a diploma, they spend it and support the bottom people and support the bottom people. And of course, that means that even more of the people who are at the bottom, who are trying desperately hard to survive, are going to lose their ability to survive, and they're going to be forced to sell. They're going to be forced to completely destroy the inheritance of their child by using a reverse mortgage, which is a terrible thing, and so on. So the end result is that more and more and more lose everything, and fewer and fewer and fewer people buy everything because they have trillions of dollars. And of course, that means they can borrow lots of money, and you cannot fight with people who have an unlimited supply of money by counterfeiting. It won't work. They get to have everything. And of course, communists want everything. And of course, Trump actually wants everything as well. He's a little on the other side as the flip of the coin, but the end result is the middle class dies. And of course, that's where most of us live or want to live, or believe we're going to live. And of course, that's just not true, because the end result is they're going to take all the money and they're going to control. But of course, we are the army as well as the people. And the difference is that, if you let the army believe they are, they have to choose between you and a leader, they're going to choose their leader, because if they choose with you, you're going to starve. And they're going to starve with you. So they're not going to do that. But limited capitalism is the same as, if you want a biblical story, it's the same as Jesus walking into the temple and overturning all the money tables of the rich and powerful, and basically giving some of it back to the people. You have to do that. You have to trust each other enough to do that.